What's up, guys? How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. We are doing another unboxing showcase review, and my god, I do have the new Conan the Conqueror figure from Mezco Toys. This is the 112 collective series. So excited to finally have this in hand. It's been about a year since the pre-order. I remember pre-ordering this last January, and I finally got this in. I feel like I'm one of the last people that got them in, just like I did with my Bishop figure if you checked out that unboxing showcase review. But this here, I am extremely happy that I finally have this. It is a wonderful looking figure, and we are about to open this thing. So you saw what's been going around, the box art, everything like that. Frazetta, oh my goodness, here. What's cool, look at that. It's got a stamp for Frazetta girls, right? That's pretty cool. The Mezco exclusive sticker right on the back there. So you guys know the deal with my reviews. We will go through what is all inside the box, take everything out, take a look inside and see. Yeah, I know that there was some instructions and the welcome package, but that'll fall out when I open it. There we go. So here is our product guidelines, and there are, I think there were instructions. I think it's mostly just what the accessories are. So yeah, there you go. Kind of helps you out with what the accessories, where they go, how they work, things like that. But I think we can figure that out. I hope we can figure that out, because there is quite a bit of accessories. So we'll take a look. Now there's a couple of trays under here. So we see on the top, of course, the figure with a lot of weapon accessories, which is awesome. Right below that is the base, the stand, the flight stand as well. We have the additional hands over here, a shield, and then a chained mace, or possibly two of them. We got two. And here we have some soft goods, which is really nice. Looks like this is the black cloak, like the hooded cloak. We got the faux fur cape going on. And I think this is the more, this is like the loincloth piece, and then some fur wrist guards or arm guards, like the forearm guards and things like that. So we'll start unboxing everything, and then we will take a look and see what this Conan the Conqueror figure is all about. All right, guys, there we have it. Everything's out of the box, and there's so much accessories. But you know what? That's what I love about Mezco, that you have so many things you can play with and so many different options to outfit the character. Let's just jump right into it, and we're gonna start off with, you know, the hands and go from there. And on the figure itself, we do have a pair of fisted hands. And here we have a pair of relaxed hands. And these hands, I want to say they're almost like a grip type hand, because they're more in a position to hold something. And then the last pair of hands we have are like the C grip hands. So these will actually grip the weapon accessories. So one of the first accessories we have is this leg knife sheath. Of course, here is the knife itself, which is painted very nicely. So is this sheath. It's actually very nicely painted with the silver and gold. But I believe this would really go, I don't know, you could choose any leg, I would assume. But considering the shape, I'd want to think this is the front and this is the back of the thigh. So I would probably just kind of wiggle it on past these boots, and then just kind of slide that up like so. And yeah, I can see the form of how it fits. So the wider side is on the back end, and you can basically have that knife right there. Now he has this belt. I'll call it a belt. If there's a proper term for this, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to call this a belt. So this is loose. It is removable. So this is technically an accessory, because we can also use this one, which I will attach on here. So I'm going to attach this on, and you will see that. And it is like just a simple peg that's right there along the side. And it is, you can see the skull. So make sure that you're putting it on the right way. This, I'm going to just point this out. So this kind of loincloth is actually 2 pieces from the shirt. So you can technically remove all of this material if you wanted to. He does have underwear on, but I'm just saying that's quite the loincloth you can actually attach onto there. And we'll put this belt on. And the reason why I'm going to put this belt on is because of the ability to put some weapons on here. So let me get this attached and we'll get started. I have that new belt on. As you can see, I did put it up more higher above the waist just because it's a much more thinner frame. It's a much more smaller belt at the same time, but it did kind of snap into place here. And transitioning to that, so there are these silver loops right here, which utilizes these hooks. And from what I can remember, I believe these hooks can get, well, they're all faced different ways, because you can see here, there's a different shape and way to put them on. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they go on a particular way for a sheath. So let me kind of fit that for a moment. Okay, so I got the hooks on and I put the sheath on. Now here's the weird thing. See this? It comes with a chain like so, but on this one it didn't. It just had the one ring on there, and I wasn't sure if it was just that way, and I think it was, because I think I'm missing a chain, which is unfortunate, because based on the instructions, it looks like both ends should have a chain on it, which mine doesn't. So mine kind of just hangs lopsided in a way, but I mean, I can just take the hook and do that if I wanted to. So it all depends on how I want to just, put it all on there. But there is that sheath that can go just like that. And here is the sword that goes inside as well. Look, it's got some battle damage on there. It's got a gold plating in the middle, which is actually really cool. And the hilt is also painted differently. And we can just slide this in and have that held on. Now these hooks aren't really the best, because look, any kind of movement, they could just pop off. So I don't know. The hooks are a nice touch in a way, because it's got movement and stuff, but those round hooks don't really clamp it into place. But to each their own. I'll just leave it at like that, and we'll go from there. So since I have 2 of the gripping hands on there, here are 2 of the weapons. This awesome looking sword, I wouldn't even know what the name of this sword is, but it is actually painted beautifully with the gold and the silver tones right there, including at the bottom of the hilt. And then we got the short-handled axe, showing a lot of wear with the wash and everything like that. Even in the handle, looks extremely nice with the way it was painted. Very well done. And he does come with this one necklace. These 2 are actually attached. So he's got this one necklace, and he's got a second necklace. So this actually has quite a bit of other, like bones, nails, of like a bird skeleton skull thing, stones. It's got all that. So it's a smaller necklace, but that does add some variety to what we can put on Conan. So he has 2 of these soft good, I guess you can call them forearm guards. This I took off the hand, as you can see, and you can just place them on like so and put the hand back. And there we have a nice soft goods for his forearm right there. We can do it also on the other side. Now this one's a little different on this side, because he does have this this bracelet here, but it is molded on, so, and it's sculpted, but it's thick enough here that you can cover it up like so, and then just attach the hand back on, and look at that. We got some soft goods right on there as well. And here are two other weapons, which that's why I was like two maces was kind of confusing, but now I know why, because you can see here, this chain is actually stiff. So you can actually have a stiff option where you can pose him in a particular way, or you can have one where it's an actual chain and it hangs down. So two different kinds. The maces look actually pretty good. It's a silver color, silver chain. The handle is where most of the paint is, because you got the wood and the metal all combined and painted individually. So it looks really well done in the way it was painted. And we have a shield here it's also nicely painted. It's got a nice design going on and some battle damage. On the back end of it, as you can see, there is a sculpted strap right here that's painted, and then a handle which you can easily just slide it into the forearm and then have his hand grip onto it. You might not necessarily need to grip it on there. I'm sure it'll hold on better if you do so, but there's your shield. And then here is the other loincloth type soft good. Let's try it on. Let's see what we can do. So there is the other loincloth piece. I wasn't exactly sure which one was like the front or the back. It is very bulky looking. It's in a way, it's kind of funny looking, but that is where it is. I think it's more so I need to put it up further. And you have to use the bigger belt. I think I would have to kind of put it up much further in the way this belt actually wraps around it, like so. So that way, considering how much bigger this is, it'll just snap into place and then it'll look like that. And here we have the hood soft good piece. It's actually, it looks really bulky. I think it's because of the lack of stitching, because the hood piece itself is up too high in my opinion. You have to definitely work with the wire that's in here to kind of drape it down a bit. But then, I mean, even up here, it goes up way too much, and you don't really find like a shoulder area of where the stitching should have been to cover up. I think if you do maneuver it the right way, you might be able to make it look a little better. I guess it all depends on how you do it. It's only held by this one hook, which I did hook in here. The loop was pretty small. I think it was just the way it was stitched. It is unfortunate. It can work. It can definitely work. There's no wire down at the bottom. It's just along the sides and around the hood. So based upon, you know, how you drape it over, might be able to work in your favor, but you definitely just need to play with the way the wire is in the hopes that you can get the hood to kind of sit properly. All right, and the other soft good here is this cape. It's kind of just this brown color. It gets black towards the end and dirty and tattered and has holes in it, which is a very nice touch. And then this huge faux fur piece at the end, or I'm sorry, around the neck piece. This is held on by this rope and it's tied up. I didn't untie it. I just left it as is and put it over his head. Now here, it's definitely nice. I think you would have to take off the head first, because you can see where it kind of bunches up like that, which looks ridiculous. So you're really, I think the important part is you put it on first, then put the head, so that way the hair can kind of drape it down like so, and then it won't necessarily be in his face at all times. So that's one way of doing it. I don't know if you could possibly combine this with this in order to kind of have that hood along there. I'm tempted to try it out. So does it work? No. Look at the hood. I mean, this is why I'm saying, like, the hood looks extremely big and I don't think it's stitched at the point where it should be. I think this hood probably works best, of course, by itself. So as ridiculous as that looks because of the way the hood has been made, it doesn't work. But I feel as if the hood, because it's a hood, it should go over his head. But there's a part of me that thinks that based upon where the stitching is, because you can see this right here, and that's why I don't think it's big enough. Unfortunately, I may feel as if it works better as not a hood, and it's just draped over like so, and use the hair to kind of keep it at bay. And I know it looks a little bunched, but that definitely looks better because it's actually draped over his shoulders versus the hood that's kind of propping it up a bit. So, hey, this is what you got to do. You got to play around, see what it's all about, and test it out. I think that definitely looks better when it's not a hood. And of course, the last of the accessories, we do have his stand, which is definitely Frazetta artwork right there. Looks really nice. And of course, the flight stand, which of course you can basically remove the peg so that we can use that. And we do have the accessory bag if you don't keep your boxes, which I do, so I normally don't use that. But that is it for all the accessories. Why don't we go over the multiple head sculpts and the paint and sculpt of the figure. All right, starting off with the head sculpt. This is the base head sculpt that we got on the figure already. And completely Frazetta. It definitely is. Look at the long hair. The sculpt of it's very nice. All of the sculpt to begin with. We got scars on his face. I mean, there's scars all over his body, but here, starting off with the head sculpt, I mean, he does have these earrings that kind of blend in with the hair. Here is the second head sculpt. It's basically this, almost the same face, a little bit more stern, I would believe, in the mouth, but it's more windswept hair, so it doesn't lay flat like this one. And then the last head sculpt, we have a screaming head, with a helmet that's basically on there. The helmet and the hair are all molded into one. I wish it was separate, but I understand maybe because the helmet might just be too big. I mean, you got it similar to that image right there. So it's still pretty good. I mean, I like it. I like the fact that we can just have, you know, a helmeted head sculpt and then just take this and put on one without the helmet. So I still like it. It's not too bad. It looks pretty good. I'm happy with it. And of course, with the sculpt itself, the body, it's, you know, it's so weird because as with the Mezcos that I have, I don't really have any figures of Mezco that have basically a naked body. So I normally don't get to see most of, you know, the sculpts in the actual bodies themselves because they're always like has clothes on them. But as you can see, there is a lot of sculpt into the arms. I'm sure with the chests and the legs. This is crazy. I think I may have to heat these up a bit, which is a very first for me in heating up a Mezco figure, because the Mezco figure joints are always amazing and they're so buttery smooth to move around. But for this, I can't even move the bicep swivel without fear of breaking it. So I will definitely heat that up for articulation purposes. But in regards to the sculpt, look at that. There's like this black wash all over the muscle design. You got veins popping out as well. Incredible. Scars all over his arms. We do have the soft goods, which is not a big deal to me. It is some nice stitching because you got these brown strings that go across even into the loincloth part. They got it all over the place. So very, very nice touch that they added here. Here have the same, all the musculature and the details, scars as well. And then from down in the bottom where his boots are, all this like fur and the straps that go along, that is nicely well painted. And it's a nice wash too to bring out the definition in the sculpt. And of course with the shoes, which are technically with, I guess, his boots, very well worn. a lot of stress lines, and you know, I guess you could call battle damage. I mean, he's wearing these a lot, even down at the bottom of the soles right there, right? So much going on. But that is your, I guess I'll call it the paint and sculpt of the figure. All right, guys, let's move on to articulation. With the neck, there will be some hindrance because of the hair. With this one, for example, I can move it left and right, just because this is the more windswept hair. I think the difficulty in this one, you're going to have to lift it up a bit to move that hair around, but it can still be done. And then, of course, with the helmeted head sculpt, you can maneuver that as well because it's more straight out than anything else. With all three of them, you can barely look up. I already popped off a piece of the helmet. Let me just put that back in there. It is removable, apparently. I never would have thought that, but I'll put it back on. It's not a big deal. There we go. You can move left to right. There is some head tilt, as you can see here, which can provide some good expression. But there is also a neck joint, which I come to find with all Mezco figures, so that does help with articulation. I'm going to put the windswept head back on, just to make it easier for myself to maneuver around. But you can see you can look down pretty well. The arms, so like I mentioned about heating them up, so I definitely did try to heat them up, but I don't think it's the heat. I think it's the sculpt. With the bicep swivel, I don't think there really is a bicep swivel. I mean, yes, it is an articulation point, but because of how it's sculpted on the arms, I can't turn it because of I mean, I can, but that's in fear of ruining it, and that's the whole thing about it. You can see me trying to turn a little bit here and there, but it's very minimal. So that is weird to me, but I think it's just because of the musculature and the way it's sculpted. There is no butterfly joint, so it's just the simple ball peg that's in there. And of course, you can maneuver his arm to go pretty high, way beyond the 90 degree. This uses a single jointed elbow, which is really weird to me too in regards to Mezco, because I know I'm more familiar with their double jointed elbow. But I guess, again, based upon the sculpt of the muscles, it's only going to go, they're only made it that way. So that is a single jointed elbow. There is a diaphragm cut here, so that is awesome. The diaphragm cut really helps there, and he does have a ball waist like so, and he can go that far forward and really far back because of that diaphragm, so that is very nice. He does have an upper thigh cut right there that you can maneuver around. He's got double jointed knees. There you go. He has a little bit of a boot swivel, but the sculpt only makes it go so far because of the way it's shaped. So that's the way, or that's the limitation right there. He does have ankle pivot and can move back that far, move up that far. It's actually pretty good. So there's your ankle pivot where you can maneuver that a bit. And there, I guess, oh, we can move them pretty well right there, right? Kicking back that far, kicking forward only so much. Yep, that's as far as it'll go. But yeah, there is articulation for Conan. All right, starting off with some comparisons, we do have here our Gomez figure, definitely taller than Conan. And here we have Wolverine. Wolverine is just slightly shorter. This is the Mezco Wolverine, by the way. So definitely wanted to see, because I know we do have Conan in the Marvel Universe, but now he's not part of the Marvel Universe. But hell, why not? I just put him next to Wolverine just to see what it would look. And here we have G.I. Joe Classified Sergeant Slaughter. And here we have him next to a Mythic Legions Gladiator. All right, guys, there you have it. There is my unboxing showcase review on this Conan the Conqueror Mezco exclusive. This is actually a pretty good figure. I'm sorry I can't compare it to the original Conan the Barbarian figure that Mezco released because I did miss out on that one. Getting this one, I'm actually very happy that I did because the accessories on this is absolutely wonderful. So many different weapons, we got different head sculpts and so many different cloth goods to kind of outfit him with different styles in the way you want him to be. This is actually a really nice figure. I'm very happy with the way it was sculpted out. It's so very well done and how this figure is. I'm sure this is basically a redo of the original Conan the Barbarian figure, just with added accessories. That's just how I view it as. And unfortunately, I can't compare the two. But for what I do have here in front of me, I do like the figure. I do hate the limitations on the articulation. Maybe it's just because this is just a whole different type of body that I'm used to for Mezco figures. But it does move very nicely and I can get them into certain poses, but I do still like the overall look of this Frazetta style character of Mezco. So let me know what you guys think. I would greatly appreciate your input. Please leave that like, leave that comment, and subscribe if you're new. Let me know what you guys think. Hope to hear from you soon, and I hope to see you on the next hunt.